Effort with a lot of moving parts, and it has not come without challenges. Coming up next at 6, what Mansour tells me she's doing to make sure that these items get to the people who need them the most. Reporting live from Atlantic Beach, Lorena Inclan, CBS 47 Action News Jax.
And Lorena, Action News Jax Russell Colburn continues our team coverage from the St. Augustine Airport, where he's getting ready to take a plane to the Bahamas to help with recovery and relief efforts.
Guys, we're joining you from the Northeast Florida Regional Airport with Atlantic Aviation, and soon we're going to be boarding that plane you see off into the distance, the one with the blue stripes on the side. That is a PC-12 that we're going to be taking off in minutes. Our first stop is heading to Sanford, Florida. We're going to pick up supplies. Then we'll be heading to Eleuthera, North Eleuthera, exactly in the Bahamas. That's northeast of Nassau and southeast of Abaco. Abaco, of course, one of the hardest hit areas because of Hurricane Dorian. A little about our trip. We're going to be going with 1,500 pounds worth of supplies, anything you can think of that the people in the Bahamas so desperately need right now. But I'm told the pilots and the crew will continue to do this as much as they can to bring stuff over to people who really need it. Continuing coverage continues, of course, right here on Action News Jax. In St. Augustine, Russell Colburn, CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
And expect reports from Russell throughout the evening. New at 5, a Jacksonville pilot arrived in Nassau this morning with his first hurricane supply drop, and he's back on his way tonight, and he's planning some future supply missions.
The First Alert weather team spent hundreds of hours tracking Hurricane Dorian. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Garrett Beadball shows us the storm's impact on the islands.
Hurricane Dorian back at the end of August and the early part of September rapidly intensified. Of course, we all know to 185-mile-per-hour maximum sustained winds before sitting over the Bahamas and then going up closer to the U.S. and making a landfall at Cape Hatteras. This is a before and after image from space satellite data of the Marsh Harbor area. This is before on August 28th. If I slide it over to September 5th, after Dorian went by, you can see the difference, the darker water, the destruction left behind from this Category 5 major hurricane, docks washed away and buildings destroyed. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Garrett Beatonball.
Something to see. Dorian spent hours off the coast of Florida stirring up the water and bringing things to shore that we normally wouldn't see. Yesterday, Sky Action News Jax flew the coastline to look for damage after the storm, and now a local group of volunteers hopes that the waters will turn up clues in the search for the 2 missing firefighters. Action News Jax Amber Kriska joins us live in St. Augustine Beach. And Amber, this weekend some volunteers are actually going to go out and comb the sand looking for clues.
And they're searching here because Brian's tackle bag was found 50 miles off the coast of St. Augustine. I spoke to a family friend who tells me they're trying to get as many volunteers as possible to come here tomorrow to walk up and down the beach to try and find anything that could bring some closure to Justin Walker's wife.
She's not willing to rest until she finds something.
A missing firefighter's wife is not ready to give up on her husband.
They're heartbroken, and she's not willing to give up.
Firefighters Justin Walker and Brian McClooney went to sea for a day of fishing and never returned. More than 146,000 acres were searched over 281 hours. Both families were right there with search crews helping. Walker's wife Natasha even took to the sky looking for her husband.
The stamina and the strength this child has, anybody should look up to.
Talisha Shugart, a family friend, says Walker has continued searching even days after the search was called off by the Coast Guard. Now she is asking for one more search because the family is hoping Hurricane Dorian washed up some of their clothing.
We have certain items of the boys that they were known to be wearing that we are hoping that the storm at some point has washed up or will wash up.
Shugart says she's hoping something viable will be found so Walker can have some closure.
She really loved her husband, and she's incomplete without him.
And the search starts tomorrow at noon. They're asking everyone to meet right there at the pier. I'm also told Walker's wife, Natasha, will also be out here as well. Reporting live in St. Augustine, Amber Kriska, CBS 47, Action News Jax.
New video shows some of the flooding in North Carolina that Dorian left behind. John Ahrens with our sister station WSOC in Charlotte reports that strong winds also caused problems there.
The weather a lot calmer right now, but check this out how aggressive the seas still are. That's going to be the lingering problem of Dorian as we have quite a bit of erosion as the water got all the way past here with the storm surge. Now let me show you the wind and possibly tornado damage. This is the Beau Shores Motel, and this hotel got a serious dose of wind, possibly from a tornado. You can see all the rafters and the insulation still all across this complex, all across the pool. There are also some hopeful stories. Over there is a business that has stood here since 1951, and it made it through.
No water. You can go in there and look. There's no water. It's amazing. But we moved everything up. We prepared for the worst and we hope for the best.
In Atlantic Beach. Back to you.
Yeah, we're glad to see good stories coming out of the Carolinas, including from my family, too. Now, dozens of people have been sending in their thoughts and well wishes to the people impacted by Hurricane Dorian. Let's take a look at just a few here. Jardine Mangrum says, God bless them all. And let's find another one here. Gloria, she just says she's praying for everyone in the Bahamas. Here's one from Alicia Hall. She says, my heart breaks for him and all of the people of this island in response to some of those heartbreaking stories we are hearing out of the Bahamas. Send in your thoughts, your prayers, your well wishes, and your support. Go to actionnewsjax.com or visit our Facebook page to weigh in and let people know that you're thinking of them.
This Sunday, the Jacksonville Jaguars will use their home opener to help raise money for those impacted by Dorian. Action Sports Jack's Dan Hicken joins us live in the studio now with how.
Yeah, certainly, John. The Jaguars had their week altered by Hurricane Dorian. The staff sent the players home Monday, didn't get back in until Thursday when they hit the practice fields. But on Sunday, the NFL and the Jaguars won't forget our neighbors in the Bahamas. The league inviting stadiums around the country to support the Bahamas by texting the word Dorian, D-O-R-I-A-N, to 90999 to donate $10 to the American Red Cross Hurricane Dorian Relief. Fans here will also have the option to contribute locally to Florida's First Coast Relief Fund by texting STORM to 50503. Now, the video board messaging will be on display at TIAA Bank Field during the game, so you'll be able to see what to do. Jags and Super Bowl favorite Kansas City Sunday at the bank. In the studio, Dan Hicken, Action Sports Jax.
All right, as the official Jaguars stations, we have you covered this weekend. Our countdown to kickoff coverage begins at 11:30 Sunday morning, followed by the game and our post-game show.
Tomorrow, a structural engineer will check the St. Augustine Beach Pier for damage from Hurricane Dorian. The pier is closed right now as a precaution. Tomorrow's report will give the city an idea if the pier will need to be fixed.
All right, before you consider returning any of your unused hurricane supplies, please consider this. Many big box stores will allow you to return perishable items, but are then forced to throw them away because of health risks. So instead, you can take your extra supplies and donate them. And Action News Jax is teaming up with News 104.5 WOKV for a joint Bahamas relief effort. The Convoy of Care will be set up next Tuesday at the roundabout near Maggiano's, where we're always set up there in the town center. It goes from 7 a.m. until 2 p.m. We're collecting the items there on the list, which includes water, baby supplies, flashlights, batteries, hygiene products, and dog and pet food.
New at 5, a Nassau County firefighter faces charges for attempted robbery. According to the report, Brian Bausch held a man at gunpoint at a motel in Orange Park. During the arrest, deputies say they smelled alcohol on his breath while he spoke and that his story changed several times. Action News Jax is working to learn if he is still employed with Nassau County Fire Rescue. A Jacksonville man is accused of targeting children with drug-laced Rice Krispie treats. And take a look. This is what police say they found inside of a West Side home. So new at 5, Action News Jax Christy Turner is at JSO where the suspect is behind bars. And Christy, investigators say they seized more than 100 pounds of marijuana edibles from the suspect's home.
Investigators say the suspect was taking cereal like this, mixing it with marijuana and selling it to kids. It looks like regular Rice Krispies treats, but the Drug Enforcement Administration says they're infused with marijuana.
Oh my God, that's awful.
Investigators say at least 115 pounds of marijuana edibles were seized from this West Side home. The DEA says Thomas Renkley was selling the drugs to young adults and children.
That's very concerning because that could be my child or anybody's child. It's awful.
Parents say kids are vulnerable.
I do think a child could get hurt.
Renkley's arrest is part of a statewide operation targeting opioids that nabbed 300 suspects, including 20 people in Northeast Florida alone. Renkley is also charged with trafficking in heroin and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. I checked jail records and found 17 arrests in Duval County dating back to 2007. Reporting live in downtown Jacksonville, Christy Turner, CBS 47 Action News Jax.
Action News Jax is working to get answers about a major apartment fire, but the city says it is still under investigation. Action News Jax told you in July when the fire started at the Callaway Cove Apartments, it put 3 children and their mother in the hospital. Still, nearly a dozen families are not able to return home.
In Nassau County, a fundraiser will be held this weekend to help a local quarterback recovering from a severe brain injury. Action News Jax first reported 2 weeks ago when Hilliard's Nathan Dowie got hurt during a football game. Chicken dinners will be sold for $10 apiece tomorrow at the Red Light in Hilliard. Food will be ready for pickup starting at 11 a.m.
I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burish. And the big weather story as we head into your weekend, transitioning from the tropics to the heat. Way above average, near record highs. Just how hot it'll be in your first alert forecast in minutes.
An Action News Jax exclusive, a local farmer opens his heart and his wallet for the Bahamas. His extraordinary act of kindness that has gone viral.
And Ring, it is a popular Amazon-owned doorbell camera. Why the video that it captures is suddenly troubling some leaders.
Donations are pouring in from across the world to help the Bahamas. This is video of a Coast Guard crew dropping off supplies. We'll update you on these efforts next at 5:30. But right now, thousands of people are still trying to unite with their loved ones who they haven't been able to talk with since Hurricane Dorian hit. Action News Jax Elizabeth Pace joins us now in the studio. And Elizabeth, you spoke to a local woman waiting to hear back from family in the area.
She's relying on the Coast Guard to give her a mass update on the area. For now, these pictures are her only connection to the island. It's a little difficult to see, but you can spot the devastation in this area. Now, this is her second home on the island. She said she would vacation here a couple times a year. But this is what it looks like now. She says just total loss over here. She can barely find her house now. And now they're just preparing whatever they can to send down there for help.
It was just devastating. It was devastating. There was a devastating hurricane in 1932, I believe, and this was way worse than that.
This is Lindsay Roberts' second home. She told me her grandfather was born and raised on a small island in the Bahamas called Green Turtle Key. She still has family there in a house of their own.
We were prepared not to hear from people for a while, but, you know, in this day and age, we're used to instant gratification, so us not hearing, you know, hours afterwards would seem like torture for us.
Roberts has no communication with her family, and it's not safe for them to go down there yet. Friends flew over the area and sent her these pictures. It's the only contact she has with the island right now. She updated us over the phone.
We have to rebuild it. We have to put it back together somehow. It'll be a while before they'll let people come back into the country. But once they do, we're going to be there picking up the pieces and helping out any way we can.
Now, until they can get down there themselves, they're asking for the Jacksonville community to donate. Next at 5:30, I spoke to a local man who purchased 100 generators for the island.
Looking forward to that story. New at 5, 2 local lawmakers are being awarded by the Florida Sheriff's Association for a new law. Action News Jax told you in April when the FANG bill was signed into law. The bill was named after a JSO police dog killed in the line of duty. It was pushed by Aaron Bean and Cord Bird. The law enhances the penalties for killing police, fire, or search and rescue animals.
A suspicious package caused a short scare at the Florida School for the Deaf and Blind. This morning, a bomb squad came to check it out, and they gave the all clear. Deputies tell us the package was left at the gate of the school, but they didn't tell us what was inside the box. Right now, a part of Zoo Parkway is back open. Crews had to clean up a big mess this morning. A fuel tanker flipped on its side and it spilled out right near the intersection with Heckscher Drive. They were just about to upright the truck when we left around 8 this morning. We are working to learn if the driver or anyone else was hurt.
Now, certified Jacksonville's most accurate weather forecast. Action News Jax First Alert Weather.
Well, plenty of sun today. Just a few high-level clouds have moved in right now. We widen the view, though, in Hurricane Dorian, and these are the latest stats just in. 5 p.m. update, still 90-mile-per-hour winds. Pressure is still pretty low, really, and you can see a well-defined eye in satellite imagery, though starting to close just a little bit as it starts to move away from the coast, and still will be not that far from the Gulf Stream here, but at least starting to give the Carolinas a break. There's rain, though, extending as far north as parts of the Northeast, not really directly associated with Dorian, but some showers in any case as the hurricane finally takes off through the northwestern Atlantic. The next place that it will make landfall, of all places, you guys, Nova Scotia. That's right, over the weekend, where a hurricane watch is currently in effect. In fact, there's an area of warm water over the northwest Atlantic, in addition to the Gulf Stream that it's near right now, that the forecast is for it to go back to Cat 2 and hit Nova Scotia as a borderline Cat 1 or 2 hurricane. Pretty remarkable. That's not unheard of, by the way, but it's not real common either. So take a look at 5 Sweep First Alert Doppler HD. You can see the outer bands of the heavy rain with Dorian offshore for the most part. A little bit of light shower activity around New York City. Back here closer to home, it is high and dry. In fact, we're going to need a little rain by about the middle of next week. Temperatures have cooled a bit at the beaches where it's in the mid to upper 80s, but it's still in the 90s inland. And we're looking at a beautiful, beautiful beach shot this afternoon. I bet this is a popular place this weekend, and rightfully so. Sea breeze cooled 87 degrees right now with an easterly breeze at around 10 miles per hour and a really pleasant evening with temperatures still hot through 7 p.m. But sunset's now at 7:45, so we'll be down into the upper 70s or so by 10 o'clock in the evening. And starting out in the 70s early tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. It's a hot day. Temperatures soaring into the 90s. We will flirt with record highs tomorrow in the mid to upper 90s. We only drop into the 70s tomorrow night under a mostly clear sky. And once again on Sunday, record and near record highs can be expected. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, that's the Jags kickoff. Look at that, 96 degrees. It will rival one of the hottest football games on record at home, which was just a year ago against the Patriots. Many remember that. And look at that, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
It's 99 degrees on Sunday. That would be a record high. Your weekend's always in view in the First Alert 7-day forecast, and we'll see those temperatures soaring all the way through the early part of next week. And Sunday kickoff at 1 o'clock. That game right here on CBS 47 Action News Jax, with those temperatures between 90 and 95. Feel like temperatures close to 100, upper 80s to low 90s through a good part of next week. Only isolated to widely scattered afternoon thunderstorms, largely dry. ActionNewsJax.com, so the latest First Alert weather, and download for free the First Alert weather app.
Only Action News Jax spoke to the local man who spent nearly $100,000 on supplies for the Bahamas. You just heard Elizabeth mention this. The friendship, he says, got him involved in the relief effort.
And it's meant to keep you safe, but experts say it may be exposing you. Next at 5, how your own Ring doorbell video could be used against you.
New coming up at 5:30. Vaping-related deaths keep climbing. Now, the national investigation underway to figure out what's making people sick. Coming up on CBS 47 Action News Jax. Local coverage you can count on.
A growing partnership between police and a doorbell camera company is raising privacy concerns nationwide. More than 400 law enforcement agencies in the country use the Ring doorbells for their neighborhood watch programs. Action News Jax Letitia Barriella shows you how that program could compromise your privacy.
Ring home surveillance cameras have captured crooks in the act, everything from home break-ins to stolen packages. It also works in conjunction with the so-called Neighbors Portal, now used by some 400 law enforcement agencies to request customer video that might help their investigations.
My goal would be to have every law enforcement agency on the police portal. It helps all communities come together to make things safer.
But privacy advocates worry that customers might not always have the final say.
Yes, we have a choice sometimes, but it's very easy for police to get a search warrant for that same footage if they believe a crime has occurred.
Ring CEO says customers will see a request come if police request the video. They can either accept or opt out of that request. But privacy advocates say that's just not enough. In the studio, Letitia Barriola, CBS 47 Action News Jax.
New at 5:30, a local man says friendship is the reason he spent tens of thousands of dollars to help the Bahamas.
And it's hard when a big event like this hits to not get pretty emotional about it right away, but it's the long term that's really going to count.
Only Action News Jax spoke to the man behind the now viral picture.
Plus, schools say it could prevent the next mass shooting, but critics call it spying. How far schools are going to keep your kids safe.
And it's new technology that could take the headache out of flying while making flight more safe.
This now viral picture shows just how far the world is going to help bring hurricane relief to the Bahamas. This anonymous local man spent tens of thousands of dollars on generators. Look at all those generators piled up there, along with other supplies, to send to the victims of Hurricane Dorian. Tens of thousands of dollars. Now, for 13 years, he's visited the island to fish with one boat captain, which he says is the reason he is now helping.
Only Action News Jax Elizabeth Pace spoke to the man. She joins us now in the studio. And Elizabeth, the man told you he is just a farmer.
Well, a farmer who spent $70,000 buying supplies for his friends in the Bahamas. I mean, just take a look. This is just a few of them back there. Overall, 100 generators. And along with that, he also sent pallets of food and other supplies to the islands.
It's hard when a big event like this hits to not get pretty emotional about it right away, but it's the long term that's really going to count.
When Hurricane Dorian hit the Bahamas, this Jacksonville man was thinking of his good friends in Abaco Islands, a town he's been visiting for the last 14 years. is now ravaged by the storms.
You knew that people staying there were just suffering greatly. I mean, they lost their homes. 80 to 90% of the people, I think, in that area of Marsh Harbor are homeless.
His efforts became a viral sensation. Someone snapped this picture of him buying 100 generators at Costco. In his exclusive interview, he asked to remain anonymous.
100 generators and 120 extension cords and enough chainsaws to start a whole tree service company.
To say he's buying items in bulk is an understatement. He also bought 4,000 pounds of food, coffee, and baby diapers.
We're working with some large shipping companies. We're working with the government to get emergency supplies into the gymnasium in Nassau.
He gave me these pictures to show what the Bahamas look like right now. His friends lost their loved ones and their homes blown away. He's hoping these donations will help get them by for now.
Now, he told me some of the supplies already got there, and the rest he's hoping will be there in the next 3 to 4 days.
Remarkable.
That is absolutely incredible. Well, new at 5:30, the Coast Guard says that crews have rescued more than 200 people in the Bahamas since Hurricane Dorian started there. And right now, 12 helicopters are leading those search and rescue efforts across the area. A huge international relief effort is on the way. Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, they are sending 43,000 water bottles and 10,000 meals. Rescue teams say the area looks like a landfill. And right now, our Action News Jax Russell Colburn is in Sanford, Florida, where you can see here some video he shot. Volunteers are loading up supplies for the Bahamas, and he'll soon get on a flight that's expected to arrive in North Eleuthera around 7 tonight. And you'll hear from him and get a look at that relief mission happening on the ground there in the Bahamas at 10 and 11.
And plenty of Action News Jax viewers have reached out asking how they can help those in the Bahamas. And Action News Jax teaming up with News 104.5 WOKV for our joint Bahamas relief effort. The convoy of care will be set up in the usual spot. Sadly, we have this usual spot, but we do have it. It's Tuesday at the roundabout near Maggiano's. That's the town center. It's from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. We are only collecting the items on the list, which includes water, baby supplies, flashlights, batteries, hygiene products, and dog food. So come by 7 to 2 Tuesday, that's next Tuesday, and we'll see you there. We need the help, folks.
Well, schools say that it could prevent the next mass shooting, but critics call it spying. Action News Jack's Ben Becker takes a look at how some schools are now monitoring what kids are saying on social media.
They Snapchat, watch YouTube videos, and post on Instagram. Kids today are putting more and more of their lives on social media, and schools think they can use that information to prevent a mass shooting.
We scan billions of digital conversations a day, looking for those needles in the digital haystack around language of harm and indicators of harm.
Social Sentinel is working with hundreds of schools in 36 states. The company says its algorithms can trip an invisible alarm and flag a threatening post. It then alerts educators and law enforcement.
We identify it, we share it, someone gets the help they need.
While there's been a significant increase in the number of schools using the monitoring service, the National PTA is against it. The group says there's little evidence it works and worry it could harm students by stifling their creativity, individual growth, and speech. The libertarian think tank the Cato Institute says these practices raise plenty of questions about privacy and discrimination.
I do not want America's school children to grow up in a world where they view surveillance as normal, whether that's on the sidewalk or in the classroom.
School Sentinel says it only uses publicly available data, arguing it's not surveillance. It's a debate school administrators nationwide are grappling with as they worry about how to keep students safe. Ben Becker, CBS 47, Action News Jax.
Walgreens, CVS, and Wegmans are the latest companies asking customers not to openly carry firearms in their stores. Earlier this week, Walmart and Kroger did the same thing. The changes come following a string of deadly mass shootings, including one at an El Paso, Texas Walmart that left 22 people dead.
The city of Jacksonville sent crews to inspect a local park where a woman drowned back in July. Action News Jax Jamarla Phillips explains what the city's doing to keep people safe at the parks.
When you come to Hanna Park, you'll find this. John Turner and his wife come here often to fish.
Depending on the time of year. It's kind of hot right now, but yeah, usually every weekend.
Today, they weren't the only ones checking out the park. The city had a risk management crew out to look at ways to improve safety in the park. In July, Action News Jax told you 35-year-old Kathy Paredes drowned after crashing her Jeep into a lake with her 5-year-old daughter inside. She was attempting to turn around along this dirt road in the park.
The city is looking at ways to improve safety in all areas across Hanna Park, including this one right here. People we talked to say this narrow dirt road can be very tricky because there's only one way in and one way out.
There are no visible changes out here since that accident in July. We expect to hear what the city plans to do to improve safety at the park on Monday. In Duval County, I'm Jamarlo Phillips, CBS 47 Action News Jax.
Right now, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is recommending everyone step away from vaping devices. The new warning comes after a third vaping-related death. The organization is investigating at least 450 confirmed or suspected cases of vaping sicknesses in 33 states. A fourth death also being investigated tonight, but has not been confirmed related.
Deputies in Clay County want people in the area of Camp Blanding to be aware they are searching for a robbery suspect that could be hiding out there. The suspect likely came from Alachua County, and so right now they're staking out near State Road 16 and Lightning Strike as they try to track them down. There is a new team keeping you safe at Jacksonville International Airport. Officer Allegino and his canine partner, Dante, recently completed their explosives detection training academy, and they graduated right at the top of their class. It kind of looks like Teddy a little bit.
A little bit.
Operations at JIA are back to normal following Hurricane Dorian. Congratulations. Well, tonight at 6, a local seafood restaurant linked to foodborne illnesses. What happened when Ben Becker started digging for answers following allegations at a local Red Lobster? And it's a new tool in airport security, the equipment that could make flying more safe and convenient.
Plus, it's not just people needing shelter after Hurricane Dorian. Next at 5:30, why a local animal shelter is heading to the Bahamas.
A local animal shelter is ready to take in pets stranded by Dorian's devastation. New at 5, Action News Jax Beth Rousseau shows us how the Nassau Humane Society is rescuing dogs from the Bahamas and bringing them back to safety.
You can see that cages here at the Nassau Humane Society on both sides are mostly empty. Volunteers tell me that they cleared out the kennels ahead of Dorian. Now they're getting ready to fill them with dogs and cats from the Bahamas that the storm left with nowhere else to go. Right now, it's quiet at the Nassau Humane Society. But it won't be for long. The shelter is opening their doors to dogs and cats from the Bahamas, left homeless by Hurricane Dorian.
With the devastation that we're seeing right now in the Bahamas, there's going to be a lot because there are people who just can't even meet their own basic needs for their families.
Christina Southern, the shelter's director, says pilots and rescue teams will bring back dogs that don't have owners that are found roaming the islands. Southern expects animals from the Bahamas as soon as this weekend.
Those dogs are looking for just refuge and to be able just to be fed and to stay safe.
She tells me this is a case of Nassau helping Nassau.
We were so fortunate that our community came out and helped us empty our shelter, and we said there was a reason for that. And the reason is because now we can turn around and pay that forward and help.
The Humane Society says they are accepting donations to help with any of the animals that they take in. We're going to post a link for you on the Action News Jax mobile app. Reporting in Nassau County, Beth Russo, Action News Jax.
Action News Jax told you in July when the same shelter took in dogs from South Korea. 200 dogs were rescued overall, but only a few came to our area. The shelter says the community donations and help from across the country allow them to rescue animals from all around the world.
Heat is on as we head through your weekend. I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burris. Your kickoff forecast for the Jags on Sunday and an update on the tropics beyond Dorian. And your first alert forecast in minutes.
14 years old and now accused of murder. Ahead at 6, only Action News Jax spoke with a former teacher of his who tells us what he thought about the boy when he was in his classroom.
New technology to speed up security at airports.
For the passenger, no more taking your laptop out, no more taking your phone out, no more having to take liquids and separate all those things.
Coming up new at 5:30, how 3D scanners are helping keep passengers safer and when it could be coming to local airports. Removing liquids and laptops from your bag could soon be a thing of the past at airports across Britain and some airports here in the U.S.
All major airports in the UK will soon be required to install new 3D technology meant to speed up security checks.
It means for the passenger, no more taking your laptop out, no more taking your phone out, no more having to take liquids and separate all those things.
The new scanners work like CT machines in a hospital, allowing screeners to zoom in and rotate a carry-on bag for a 360-degree view. More than a dozen major airports in the U.S. are already using the technology, including LAX in Los Angeles, New York's JFK, and Chicago's O'Hare. London's Heathrow Airport is the first in the UK to test out the equipment.
Wow, super excellent.
I think anything that speeds up the check-in process has to be good.
The technology isn't just being installed to save travelers time. Airport authorities say it's also a way to improve security.
We will be able to detect things that we can't currently detect, and we can anticipate some of the threats that might be coming at us from threats such as ISIS and Al-Qaeda.
Aviation experts say the machines create such a clear picture of what's inside a bag, security staff can easily detect explosives. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has ordered all major airports in the UK to install the new scanners by the end of 2022.
The TSA says it plans to install the 3D scanners in other airports across the U.S. in the coming years.
An airline plane mechanic says that he tampered with the plane to get more overtime. The American Airlines mechanic was arrested yesterday, and he allegedly tried to damage or disable part of the plane that reports and records flight information. And he said that the intention was not to hurt the passengers or harm the aircraft. Court documents show he was upset over a union contract dispute.
A South Florida woman is recovering from a bite by an alligator. She was working at a wildlife refuge when she accidentally stepped on the animal and it grabbed onto her leg. Luckily, her clothes kept the animal from causing serious injuries. She was wearing waders. Around this time last year, the refuge banned fishing from boat ramps because of aggressive gators.
We've gotten within 2 feet of alligators without an issue. I mean, as long as they have an out.
Helps you understand that we all have to stay in our own lane, basically.
FWC says the woman who was bitten is going to be okay, and they will not remove the alligator from the refuge.
Jaguars fans, your team is back at TIAA Bank Field this weekend to open up the regular season. Finally, right? Jaguars legend Big John Henderson will lead the fans in the first Duval chant of the game. Kickoff is at 1, and this game will be hot, okay? So be sure to stay hydrated. The Daly's Place Amphitheater will also be open if you just need to take a break and get out of the heat.
Your official Jaguars stations are getting you game day ready. Just like last season, only mobile tickets can be used on game days. So let's walk you through how to do it step by step. Number 1, you need to download the official Jaguars app. There is a version for both Apple and Android phones. Then go to Manage Tickets. That's under the menu button. Once you're there, select Event. If you aren't already logged in, this is when you'll need to do it. Of course, you'll need to create an account if you haven't already. Once you're logged in, just click on your tickets and a barcode will pop up. That's what you'll need to show at the gate to get into the game. There's one more step you can optionally take if you have an iPhone. You can add the tickets to your Apple Wallet. Then you can open up the tickets from that app instead. Now, if your entire group isn't with you, you'll need to transfer your tickets to their app. In fact, the Jaguars suggest transferring individual tickets to each person in your group to make entry faster.
And as the official station of the Jags, we got you covered this weekend. Our countdown to kickoff coverage begins at 10:30 Sunday morning, followed by our game and our post-game show online.
Now, certified Jacksonville's most accurate weather forecast. Action News Jax First Alert Weather.
Oh, and it will be a scorcher Sunday. In a word, it's going to be hot, so be extra careful, seriously, on Sunday. A lot of sunshine out there right now. Getting things ready at the stadium. John, I'll be calling you Sunday to make sure I can download my tickets properly. So please, will you take care of me? Thank you. I appreciate that. So we're looking at a high today that soared all the way up into the mid to upper 90s at 96 degrees, just below the record for the date of 98, set way back in the previous century. No, I was not there, John Bachman. 1875. The average high temperature is 89 degrees. So we were well above that. 5-speed first alert Doppler HD is dry this afternoon across the area. You know what? By about the middle of next week, we will need rain. As hot as it's going to be and the lack of rain, tell you what, it's a dry spell now after Dorian moved on by just to the east. You can see the sea breeze. Look at that. Nice shot of the sea breeze pushing inland this afternoon, and that's offered at least a little bit of relief with the wind off of the Atlantic, where water temperatures right now are in the mid-80s. So we're looking at temperatures that will continue to be well above average tomorrow and Sunday. There'll be lots of sunshine. Temperatures will be around 70 degrees early in the morning. Really pretty decent early on and pretty comfortable, but already at noon we're 90 plus, and then mid to upper 90s in the afternoon both tomorrow and on Sunday. So maybe the beach is the place to go, right? It looks pretty decent. There'll be a good deal of sunshine. Now the temperatures will be pretty hot even at the beaches through about 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It'll be between 90 and 95, and then the sea breeze should kick in enough to drop that temperature a little bit more. Water temperatures right now around 85. Southwesterly breeze becoming east and southeasterly then in the afternoon, but not very strong, so we're only looking at a surf of about 1 to 2 feet. Those waves are gone from Dorian. And your Jags first alert forecast then, again, you'll be able to see that on CBS 47 Action News Jax with temperatures in the 90s, feel like temperatures 100 plus, and of course it always feels hotter down on the field. This will rival the hottest game of the Jags history here. I'll tell you more about that coming up in the first alert forecast in about a half hour or so. There goes Dorian taking on off to the north and east. It's headed for Nova Scotia of all places. There are several disturbances out here out over the central Atlantic. Gabrielle will head on out to the north. That is not a problem, but there's a stronger wave that's come off the coast of Africa that certainly bears watching as we get into about the middle and end of next week. It'll try to make an approach onto the Caribbean. There's certainly nothing threatening the U.S. though anytime soon. There's the heat for your weekend. Always in view in the first alert 7-day forecast, and just isolated afternoon thunderstorms through next week with highs in the upper 80s to around 90 degrees. ActionNewsJax.com is over the latest first alert weather, and for free, download the First Alert Weather app.
Coming up, more local coverage you can count on. First, a local 14-year-old accused of killing a toddler. A former teacher describes him as kind, what he believes was missing that may have made him a murderer. Then, pets displaced by Hurricane Dorian. How a local animal shelter is stepping up to help animals with nowhere to go. Local stories that matter to you. Next on Action News Jax.
What to watch, brought to you by Ashley Home Store.
Doctors in Jacksonville want parents to know that they're doing all they can to keep your children healthy and keep their health care local.
Yeah, Action News Jax Alicia Tarancon spoke with one local mother who says it was local doctors who helped her son get better after he was diagnosed with a rare form of brain cancer.
Catherine Gilligan's 11-year-old son Andrew was diagnosed with a rare cancerous tumor in his brain when he was 4. He was rushed to the emergency room at Wolfson Children's Hospital where he underwent surgery.
We had to reteach him how to eat and walk and talk.
Gilligan says it was the doctors who helped him get better. About 115 children will be diagnosed with pediatric cancer in our area, and about 95% of them will be treated by specialists right here in the Jacksonville area.
It does take a community to make this happen.
Doctors from Wolfson Children's Hospital, UF Health Proton Therapy Institute, Nemours Children's Hospital, and more kicked off National Childhood Cancer Month, letting the community know they have specialists on hand with the tools needed to treat children in our area.
We have excellent surgical care, oncology care, radiation care, and really I think it's kind of a hidden secret in Jacksonville.
In fact, it was Andrew's journey that inspired his sister to get into nursing school. Eventually, she wants to land a job at Wolfson so she can help children like her brother live long and healthy lives.
Just seeing how the nurses took care of him and just put a smile on his face, walking in the mornings even if he wasn't feeling the best, it just really touched me.
They check him and take care of him, making sure that it stays away, and we're very thankful to that.
Reporting at Jax Beach, Alicia Tarancon, CBS47, Action News Jax.
130,000 jobs were added in the U.S. according to the August job report. Wages also increased 3.2%. Unemployment stayed the same at 3.7%. And for 107 months straight, the U.S. economy has been adding jobs, but hiring pace has slowed down.
A new study from the British Medical Journal suggests that those who do not eat meat could be at a higher risk of stroke than those who do. Researchers tracked nearly 50,000 people for almost 20 years, and they found that vegetarians and vegans had a 20% higher risk of stroke than meat eaters. Now, the same study also showed that cutting out meat is associated with the lower risk of coronary heart disease, and research found no significant increase in stroke rate for those who eat fish but not meat.
Tomorrow, Florida Blue is offering free flu shots ahead of the flu season. They'll be available between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Those who get vaccines will receive a free $5 Walgreens gift card while supplies last. They'll be offered at the Florida Blue Center in the Town Center, located at the Town Center, 4855 Town Center Parkway. The city of St. Augustine wants you to come downtown this weekend. Their historic downtown parking facility now open. They will continue to offer free parking until Monday. St. Augustine is hoping the available parking will bring support to the local businesses which have suffered losses from Hurricane Dorian.
The Cummer Museum of Art and Garden is now open, and it reopened this morning at 10, just in time for the finals weekend of the summer. Admission is free today from 4 to 9 p.m. tomorrow, and then from 10 to 4.
Once paradise, now several islands in the Bahamas are reeling from Hurricane Dorian.
This was a direct hit by a nuclear-grade hurricane.
Powerful wind, storm surge, and rain battered these tiny islands for days.
Now, pleas for help are being heard all over the world.
Get help. We just need a lot of help.
Tonight, our community is gathering supplies to get these people everything they need.
It's horrible. You can't live here.
I don't wish it on nobody. Nobody, words can't describe it. They could never categorize this.
Some of the newest images we're seeing from the Bahamas tonight seem like a nightmare. It really is. I'm John Bachman.
I'm Tanika Hughes. Right now, the death toll is at 30, but some Bahamian natives insist it could be in the hundreds. Power is out. Thousands are homeless. And tonight, Action News Jax's team coverage finding out everything that our community can do tonight to help. We're going to start with Lorena Inkland, who is live in Atlantic Beach. And Lorena, the woman who organized a local relief drive, she travels to the Bahamas on mission trips.
She does, Tanika. She actually goes to Cat Island at an orphanage there and brings them supplies. Thankfully, that island wasn't among the most affected, but she still loves the Bahamas, and she wants them to know that she is collecting supplies for them, asking the community for help, and all these supplies you see here in these bins will be soon making their way to the Bahamas. Bin after bin stocked with necessary supplies. Each one will soon make its way to the Abaco Islands and Grand Bahama.
Bahamas, it's right next to our country, so it's every time we can get away, Bahamas is an easy place for everybody to go.
Suela Mansour has made it her mission to help our neighbors. She wants them to know we don't just go to the Bahamas to vacation, but also to lend a helping hand.
All the community wants to help.
She's been posted up at her restaurant, Coop 303 today, collecting supplies. People like Danny Southworth answered her call for help.
We brought over a lot of our canned goods that we had left over.
Coordinating deliveries to the devastated areas has been challenging. Mansour is in contact with people on the ground.
They're giving us more updated list on the supply, and we've been getting those like every hour.
If you did not make it out today and still want to help, Mansour will be back at Coop 303 tomorrow from 10 to 3. If you're able to come tomorrow, one thing you can do to help is also bring some of these plastic bins you see here. What Mansour is doing is she is filling them up with assorted items, and the thought is that she wants to give them each to one family. Now on Sunday, this truck right here and others will be headed down to Fort Lauderdale. They'll offload these supplies onto boats and they'll make their way to those affected areas. Reporting live from Atlantic Beach, Lorena Inclan, CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
And right now, we have a crew on the way to the Bahamas. Action News Jax Russell Colburn got on a flight in St. Augustine around 4. He landed in Sanford around 5. And right now, he's on his way to North Eleuthera Island. It's just southeast of Abaco, one of the devastated areas. And he stopped to give us an update before they left Florida.
Guys, we just landed in Sanford a short time ago. We're going to gather more supplies and fuel up, and then we're going to head to North Eleuthera. But first, I want to show you guys what's really become like a holding area for all kinds of donations. This is Air Unlimited charter services in Sanford, where a lot of planes have been picking up supplies and heading over to areas in the Bahamas. So soon we'll be getting back on our PC-12 to head over to deliver supplies to people who really need it. Our estimates are about 1,500 pounds worth of supplies is what we'll be bringing to them. Just for a lay of the land, North Eleuthera is northeast of Nassau and southeast of Abaco. Well, of course, that area you've heard of a lot on the news that just got hammered by Hurricane Dorian. These families need this stuff so much, and these local people are just so happy to be able to gather it up and bring it to them, excuse me. That's our plane coming in right now. That's our PC-12. They just taxied around. Soon they'll be given fuel, and then we'll be out with all our supplies heading to North Eleuthera. They're estimating we'll be there around 7 o'clock, and of course we'll bring you more images from on the ground when we can. In Sanford, Russell Colburn, CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
Wish him safe travels and can't wait to see his reports. So plenty of Action News Jax viewers have reached out asking how they can help the Bahamas, and we have some ways you can do it.
Yeah, people are reaching out days ago.
Yeah.
So Action News Jax Family Focus is teaming up with 104.5 WOKV, our radio partners, and for a Bahamas relief effort. The Convoy of Care will be set up next Tuesday at the roundabout near Maggiano's at the Town Center from 7 until 2 p.m. And we're going to be collecting only the things you see listed here: water, baby supplies, hygiene products, flashlights, batteries, and dog food. You can just drive right up. We'll unload it for you. Thank you so much in advance.
Right now, Dorian appears to be making its way out to sea, but not before, well, just blasting the Outer Banks of North Carolina. These are new photos right there of a tornado that hit Emerald Isle. Part of the state also saw significant flooding before Dorian finally moved out. Cruise ships are returning to port after getting stuck at sea while the hurricane passed. At least 6 ships made their way to Port Canaveral, including one that couldn't get into its home port in Jacksonville. The ships are carrying nearly 20,000 passengers. And in the meantime, Carnival says it will use its fleet of ships to send water, generators, and food to the Bahamas. Jacksonville-based Crowley Solutions already went to the Bahamas and back, bringing water and hygiene kits on its fleet. More than 60 pallets of water they delivered. Good stuff.
Incredible new images show some of the amazing search efforts underway thanks to help from dozens of Florida's Coast Guard members. So take a look at some of the numbers from this effort. This was the update as of 9 this morning. 200 people rescued here, and 12 helicopters have been used, and also 8 cutter ships are a part of this response, and this has been going on since the beginning of the week, and this is marking a 96-hour mission so far, and they are still going.
The tropics are active tonight. A report from Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish minutes away, but updates anytime by going to actionnewsjax.com or download the app. Tonight, we are hearing from the former teacher of a teenager now charged with murder. The 14-year-old could be charged as an adult for allegedly beating a child to death. New at 6, the teacher told Action News Jax' Christy Turner this was out of his character.
The teacher remembers this student as being respectful and not violent. He says he never thought the boy would end up here in jail charged with murder. 14-year-old Jonathan Godwin was babysitting 3 young children when police say he beat a 3-year-old girl to death over her crying. Detectives say he hit the victim in the chest, back, legs, and head with his fist and a belt repeatedly.
I don't know Jonathan to be a murderer.
I sat down with the suspect's former elementary school teacher, Kevin Dunbar.
I was shocked, just because of his nature. He's not that kind of guy. He's not a violent guy. He's kind of a, laid-back kid.
Dunbar says Godwin had a bright future ahead of him.
It just speaks to the point of getting the kids involved and adults just kind of nurturing the kids.
The arrest report redacts the relationship between the victim and the suspect. Police say the investigation revealed Godwin had a history of hurting other children. Reporting in downtown Jacksonville, Christy Turner, CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
And Jacksonville has a number of resources to help children stay on the right track. Between the Youth Crisis Center and several church organizations, people are here to help. If you feel like your family could benefit from something like this, we have a list on actionnewsjax.com. New at 6, a local state representative wants the Duval County School Superintendent to be an elected position. Jason Fisher introduced the bill this morning, amending a previous proposal of an appointed school board. 41 of 67 counties in Florida already elect their superintendents. If this bill makes it through the Duval County Legislative Delegation and state legislature, there will be a voter referendum in November of 2020. Action News Jax reached out to the school district for comment. Board Chair Lori Hershey disagrees with Fisher's proposal and said in part, quote, "Our current model of an elected board and an appointed superintendent accountable to that board is working for students and families."
The family of one of the 2 firefighters lost at sea for 22 days is asking volunteers to walk the beaches. Justin Walker's wife has spent every day looking for her husband, and family and friends are asking for one more search because of the possibility that Hurricane Dorian washed up some of their clothing. The search starts tomorrow at noon at the St. Augustine Pier.
In St. Johns County, the Guana Preserve will not be developed anytime soon. Sky Action News Jax flew over the area soon after we learned the developer pulled out. We told you in the past all of the wooded area off of 210 could have been built up. New at 6, Action News Jax' Amber Kriska reports this isn't a permanent win for opposition.
The battle is over.
Well, I'm very pleased by it.
At least for now.
I just wish it would be a forever thing.
Ponte Vedra Corporation is holding off on development near Guana Preserve for 3 years. It's where the developer wants to build 66 homes on 74 acres of conserved private land. For months, neighbors have been fighting to stop the development. Here's a look inside one of the meetings Action News Jax was at. Hundreds of neighbors showed up.
This isn't just about building per se. We don't have a problem with that. It's what they're trying to build on that we have a problem with.
The developer sent a statement that reads in part, "Our proposal to delay any development on the property for 3 years allows those parties time to secure funding and purchase the land. In the meantime,
I would rather have it postponed rather than the deal go through."
Neighbors say this doesn't mean they are done fighting.
We'll never give in.
This is the second developer that's put this on hold. That makes me a bit nervous, though. Putting on hold, hoping that we'll go away? We're not. We'll just get bigger.
The president of Save Guana told me they still want people to come to the hearings and email county commissioners. I did reach out to the property owner to see how much this land will cost, and they're still trying to figure that out. Reporting in St. Johns County, Amber Kriska, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
Covering Duval County, just within the past few hours, the health department reached out to us letting us know there is one confirmed case of West Nile in the area. They did not specify anything about the patient, but they admit they are worried more cases could pop up of the virus.
Action News Jax is your official Jaguar station, and it is almost time. The finishing touches are being put on the field before Sunday's game, including this, the new 25th anniversary logo. And the Jags are doing a little something extra to send support to the Bahamas this weekend. So several times throughout the game, you're going to see this message on the Jumbotron. Text Dorian, D-O-R-I-A-N, to 90999, and that way you can make a $10 donation to the Red Cross. And you don't have to wait for the game to do this. The donations, you can text this number and make that donation right now. And we also have you covered this weekend. Our countdown to kickoff coverage begins at 11:30 Sunday morning, followed by the game and our post show. And our First Alert Weather team is putting Sunday at a blistering 97 degrees. Action News Jax DeMarlo Phillips is live at TIAA Bank Field to tell us if there are any plans in place for Jags fans to beat the heat.
And Tanika, that'll be the theme for the weekend, beat the heat. Our chief meteorologist Mike Burrish tells me that this first home game of the season will be a hot one. Temperatures are expected to be around 97 degrees, but it will feel more like the triple digits. Take a look at this video here. Action News Jax told you during the first 2 home games of the season last year when more than a dozen people were taken to a hospital, but not all of those calls were necessarily heat related. I checked with JTA about an hour ago, and it did confirm they will have 2 cooling buses set up at the stadium. What you're seeing in this video, what those buses look like. Water stations will also be set up around the stadium for people to cool off. Now, the best advice if you're coming to the game or to beat the heat is to drink plenty of water, get here early, because kickoff is set for 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon. It's going to be hot. Reporting here in downtown Jacksonville, I'm Jamarlo Phillips, CBS47, Fox 30, Action News Jags.
Jamarlo speaking the truth. I'll show you some of the hottest Jags games that we've had in recent memory. And a sizzling September. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. A sizzling weekend First Alert forecast is minutes away.
Ahead at 6, a local seafood restaurant linked to foodborne illnesses. What happened when Ben Becker started digging for answers following some allegations at a local Red Lobster?
What to watch, brought to you by Ashley Home Store.
Your health and safety is the reason we go out every week to get you answers about the places that you love to eat.
In this week's original restaurant report, Action News Jack's Ben Becker tells us about violations that inspectors found at local restaurants.
Red Lobster says everything they do is a celebration of food, but inspectors say one local location was being investigated for a foodborne illness. I paid a visit to the Red Lobster on Bay Meadows near 95 with the inspection report in hand.
What happened? As far as, well, give me 1 second, okay?
Sure. The manager took the inspection report and walked away to review it. Inspectors say this location was under a foodborne illness investigation. There was bare hand contact with ready-to-eat food and potentially hazardous food temperatures. As the lobsters waited patiently to learn their fate, I waited about 8 minutes to learn the fate of my question.
They were all taken care of and have been addressed.
Corporate sent me a statement that reads in part, quote, "We've been working closely with the health department to ensure safe practices, and we've reinforced our own best practices so our guests can feel good about dining with us." Elsewhere, the Sonic Drive-In on 103rd near Jamie's Road was cited for 70 live small flying insects, 2 roaches, and an employee washed their hands for less than 10 to 15 seconds. It was temporarily closed. Saffron Mediterranean Kitchen on Richard Street near University Boulevard was operating with no potable water, potentially hazardous food temperatures, and a hand wash sink not accessible for employee use. It was temporarily closed. Our final stop, Lola's on King Street near Park Street, was cited for potentially hazardous food temperatures, accumulated food debris, and an employee using the hand wash sink as a dump sink. All the restaurants mentioned have passed follow-up inspections. In the studio, Ben Becker, CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
Tonight, Florida's governor wants the White House to approve federal reimbursements following Hurricane Dorian. And Governor DeSantis said he spoke with President Trump personally.
I think we probably will get it because FEMA's in a situation where these counties and the state, we did what you would want us to do. I mean, we actually took steps to prepare.
DeSantis asking for reimbursements that could surpass $200 million. Action News Jax reported before Dorian impacted our area that the city of Jacksonville is still waiting for federal money 2 years after Hurricane Irma.
Tonight, a part of Zoo Parkway back open. Crews had to clean up a big mess this morning. A fuel tanker flipped on its side and spilled right near the intersection with Heckscher Drive. They were just about to upright the truck when we left at 8 o'clock this morning. We're working to learn if the driver or any other people were hurt.
Glenn County has some new technology that's going to help officers quickly write tickets. Before they had to handwrite everything, and it took up a lot of time, but under the new system called Brazos, they confirmed that at the push of a button it can scan licenses, and information is then uploaded into a citation quickly and accurately. Staff is able to process each citation in roughly 4 minutes, cutting the total processing time in half. Also in Glenn County tonight, trying to get a good look at your screen right now. Police are trying to figure out who these 2 people are. Recognize them? They were caught on surveillance, allegedly stealing someone's credit card out of their wallet and then using it at a different store in the area. Glenn County Police say they are on the case, but again, they need your help.
Now, certified Jacksonville's most accurate weather forecast. Action News Jax First Alert Weather.
We are in for one hot weekend, of course, as Dorian moves away. Drier air coming in underneath the hurricane, so to speak, the south side, that counterclockwise circulation brings in some really dry air, but it also heats it up fast, especially this time of year. We were in the mid-90s today, hit 96 degrees, just a couple of degrees short of the record high. And it looks like we'll make the record high. We'll beat the record high tomorrow. We make it all the way up to 98. And on Sunday, 97 degrees. Both of those would be new record high temperatures. So we know it's going to be hot for that Jags game, right? How about some of the hottest Jags games that are on record? Well, go back to September 12th, 2010. It's about the same time of year, of course, not unusual. The air temperature was 93. The feel-like temperature was 105. And we had a lightning delay to start the fourth quarter. It at least cooled it off when the Jags went back out on the field. And then just last year, Jamarlo, in fact, mentioned this too. Air temperature 96 degrees on the 16th when the Patriots came to town and the Jags beat the Patriots to go 3-1. Remember that? Feel-like temperature 106 degrees. So we're going to not have the feel-like temperatures quite as high, but the air temperature easily into the mid-90s for the start of the Jags game. 5-Sweep First Alert Doppler HD is nice and quiet this afternoon. Nice sea breeze here pushing inland past to the west of Interstate 95. It's been rolling westbound for the last couple of hours. Not a whole lot of humidity in the air, so we aren't seeing thunderstorms like we typically see this time of year as that sea breeze moves in. And there's Dorian, that dry air wrapping around that backside. There's hardly any cloud cover at all to the west and southwest of the hurricane, which is, of course, also where we are. Now moving offshore and will continue to move to the north and to the northeast. And that means a hit on Nova Scotia, of all places, later this weekend, where a hurricane watch is in effect. We do have some other areas out here that are active over the Atlantic. The yellow area does not look like anything that will develop anytime soon. Gabrielle, we're turning more northward. That's mainly an ocean storm then. And then we have what looks to be the potential for development here that has just come off the coast of Africa, a tropical wave. This will head westbound, and as it makes a move toward the Caribbean late next week, it may be something to watch, but plenty of time to see how things will develop and evolve, and there'll certainly be no short-term threats from the tropics over the next several days at least. Weekend's always in view in the First Alert 7-day forecast in the 90s, in fact, right on into Monday. Only isolated or widely scattered afternoon showers and storms through next week, and upper 80s to low 90s. ActionNewsJax.com. You can download the First Alert weather app for free. Check out my tweets at Mike First Alert and Facebook fan page.
Before Hurricane Dorian brushed our coast, Florida Power and Light installed a barrier around the substation to prevent water damage. This was the substation locally here. It's called the Aqua Dam. Action News Jax visited FPL before the storm, and this is new video of the dam in action. Crews are scheduled to remove the Aqua Dam beginning Monday.
Action News Jax learned today an evaluation of the St. Johns County Ocean and Fishing Pier will happen tomorrow. Right now, you can see the do not enter signs block off the pier following a lashing from Dorian on Wednesday. Neighbors tell us they even found some pieces of the wood in the ocean. The county says the pier will be reopened when it's deemed safe. A Florida college student being called a hero after Hurricane Dorian, the way he saved his father with the click of a button.
Then at 11, Action News Jax Russell Colburn is in the Bahamas, or on his way there actually. You can help the island nation with more than just donations. That's tonight on Action News Jax at 11. And still to come at 6, the Jeep that took the internet by storm. We found out who's to blame for getting the car stuck, and it's not the owner. Florida Blue is working with Walgreens and offering free flu shots Saturday. This is the third year for the event. The no-cost flu vaccines are available 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. to anyone 18 or older. The Jacksonville location will be at the St. John's Town Center.
This time, 24 hours ago, thousands of Americans were tuned in watching a live feed of a Jeep pier just being rattled by waves in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. That Jeep is out of the water tonight. And here's the real damper. The owner wasn't even the one driving. This is new video of the Jeep being towed today. He says his cousin took the Jeep and got it stuck. And he didn't even know it was happening until police showed up at his door.
Ooh, ouch. That's going to be a tough conversation.
Yeah.
All right, because of Hurricane Dorian, it is not a busy night in high school football tonight. School was out for at least 2 days for much of our area and many places out 3 days. That means all but 6 games have been canceled, postponed really. The Action Sports Jax team will have highlights from whoever does play tonight at 10:30 on Fox 30. CBS Evening News is up next on CBS 47.
And at 6:30 on Fox 30, a story of survival out of the Bahamas.
Then the current was so strong, then the roof started to lift. The next thing I remember, I was underneath the water.
What they did to survive for 2 days during the height of the storm. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
This is Fox 30 Action News Jax at 6:30. Local coverage you can count on.
Right now, Hurricane Dorian is continuing to make its way up the East Coast. This is a live look at a beach in Manasquan, New Jersey. Talk about a familiar sight as the storm roughs up the waves and brings up the tide there. Ooh, oh, still too fresh. Brand new video out of North Carolina shows the massive flooding in North Carolina at the height of the storm. A man says his parents sent him this video this morning showing the water nearly reaching their house that is on 5-foot stilts. Some people along the coast say they have lived there for decades and never saw flooding so bad there in North Carolina. I'm John Bachman.
I'm Tanika Hughes. Let's get you caught up on the very latest. Officials with North Carolina's Emergency Management say they have received reports that hundreds of people may be trapped on the barrier islands or the Outer Banks. They are now preparing to evacuate them by helicopter. As of right now, early reports show over the course of the storm between 1 and 2 dozen tornadoes were reported in the Carolinas. And Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish warned about that. Meanwhile, in the Bahamas, the Coast Guard says the crews have rescued more than 200 people in the Bahamas since Hurricane Dorian began. Right now, 12 helicopters are leading the search and rescue efforts. A huge international relief effort is underway, and Royal Caribbean Cruise Line is sending 43,000 water bottles and 10,000 meals.
This now viral picture shows just how far the world is going to help bring hurricane relief to the Bahamas. This anonymous local man spent tens of thousands of dollars on generators and other supplies to send to the victims of Hurricane Dorian. Only Action News Jax Elizabeth Pace spoke with this man. He tells us his personal reason for helping.
It's hard
when a big event like this hits, to not get pretty emotional about it right away, but it's the long term that's really going to count.
When Hurricane Dorian hit the Bahamas, this Jacksonville man was thinking of his good friends in Abaco Islands, a town he's been visiting for the last 14 years. Is now ravaged by the storms.
You knew that people staying there were just suffering greatly. I mean, they lost their homes. 80 to 90% of the people, I think, in that area of Marsh Harbor are homeless.
His efforts became a viral sensation. Someone snapped this picture of him buying 100 generators at Costco. In his exclusive interview, he asked to remain anonymous.
100 generators and 120 extension cords and enough chainsaws to start a whole tree service company.
To say he's buying items in bulk is an understatement. He also bought 4,000 pounds of food, coffee, and baby diapers.
We're working with some large shipping companies. We're working with the government to get emergency supplies into the gymnasium in Nassau.
He gave me these pictures to show what the Bahamas look like right now. His friends lost their loved ones and their homes blown away. He's hoping these donations will help get them by for now. Reporting in Jax Beach, Elizabeth Pace, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
As search and rescue crews begin to gain access to some of the hardest hit areas, stories of survival are beginning to come out. One man says that he and his son were swept away by the storm surge from the 3rd floor of their home. The 3rd floor. They were separated for 2 days and survived by sleeping in trees.
He was already gone. And minutes later, when I came from underneath the water, I threw my hand, I caught onto the truss, and the roof carried me away. So we were like about 600 feet away from each other for about 2 days. And we caught up into the pine tree, about 32 feet high.
Joey Saunders says his family, one of the lucky ones, even though they lost everything, they are alive and they were able to find each other. And he only hopes that loved ones of the hundreds of people missing can have that same happy ending.
Incredible. Well, today, Action News Jax spoke to a local woman waiting to hear back from family in the Bahamas. Take a look at this picture. This is what her house looked like before the storm hit. And this is what the neighborhood looks like now. She tells us she has no communication with her family. It's not safe for them to go down yet, so friends flew over the area and sent her these pictures. It's the only contact she has with her people in the island right now.
We were prepared not to hear from people for a while, but, you know, in this day and age, we're used to instant gratification, so us not hearing, you know, hours afterwards would seem like torture for us. It'll be a while before they'll let people come back into the country, but once they do, we're going to be there picking up the pieces and helping out any way we can.
Until they can get down there themselves, they're asking the Jacksonville community to donate anything they can.
The family of fireman Justin Walker, who's been lost at sea for 22 days, is asking volunteers to walk the beaches. And tonight, Action News Jax Amber Kriska spoke to the family, who's hoping to find any clues that may have washed up on shore from Hurricane Dorian.
They're searching here because Brian's tackle bag was found 50 miles off the coast of St. Augustine. Today, I talked to a friend of the family who tells me they're trying to get as many volunteers as possible to come out here tomorrow to walk up and down the beach to try and find something that could bring some closure to Justin Walker's wife.
She's not willing to rest until she finds something.
A missing firefighter's wife is not ready to give up on her husband.
They're heartbroken, and she's not willing to give up.
Firefighters Justin Walker and Brian McClooney went to sea for a day of fishing and never returned. More than 146,000 acres were searched over 281 hours. Both families were right there with search crews helping. Walker's wife Natasha even took to the sky looking for her husband.
The stamina and the strength this child has, anybody should look up to.
Talisha Shugart, a family friend, says Walker has continued searching even days after the search was called off by the Coast Guard. Now she is asking for one more search because the family is hoping Hurricane Dorian washed up some of their clothing.
We have certain items of the boys that they were known to be wearing that we are hoping that the storm at some point has washed up or will wash up.
Shugart says she's hoping something viable will be found so Walker can have some closure.
She really loved her husband, and she's incomplete without him.
And that search starts tomorrow at noon. They're asking everyone to meet right here at the pier. I'm also told Walker's wife, Natasha, will also be here. Reporting in St. Augustine, Amber Kriska, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
A live look at Jax Beach now, where a swim advisory is in effect at our local beaches. The health department says it could be unsafe for days following Dorian. Officials say flood water could contain sewage, debris, and other hazards. Action News Jax will let you know when the advisory is lifted.
A local animal shelter is ready to take in pets stranded in Dorian's devastation. Action News Jax Beth Rousseau shows us how the Nassau Humane Society is rescuing dogs from the Bahamas and bringing them back to safety.
You can see that cages here at the Nassau Humane Society on both sides are mostly empty. Volunteers tell me that they cleared out the kennels ahead of Dorian. Now they're getting ready to fill them with dogs and cats from the Bahamas that the storm left with nowhere else to go.
Right now, it's quiet at the Nassau Humane Society. But it won't be for long. The shelter is opening their doors to dogs and cats from the Bahamas, left homeless by Hurricane Dorian.
With the devastation that we're seeing right now in the Bahamas, there's going to be a lot because there are people who just can't even meet their own basic needs for their families.
Christina Southern, the shelter's director, says pilots and rescue teams will bring back dogs that don't have owners that are found roaming the islands. Southern expects animals from the Bahamas as soon as this weekend.
Those dogs are looking for just refuge and to be able just to be fed and to stay safe.
She tells me this is a case of Nassau helping Nassau.
We were so fortunate that our community came out and helped us empty our shelter, and we said there was a reason for that. And the reason is because now we can turn around and pay that forward and help.
The Humane Society says they are accepting donations to help with any of the animals that they take in. We're going to post a link for you on the Action News Jax mobile app. Reporting in Nassau County, Beth Rousseau, Action News Jax.
Plenty of Action News Jax viewers have reached out asking how they can help those in the Bahamas. Action News Jax is teaming up with News 104.5 WOKV for a joint Bahamas relief effort. The Convoy of Care will be set up next Tuesday at the roundabout near Maggiano's in the town center from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. We are only collecting the items that are on our list, which includes water, baby supplies, flashlights, batteries, hygiene products, and dog food. So come by and donate if you can. Action News Jax has continuing coverage of Hurricane Dorian on our website. There you can find local donation drives, a gallery of the damage, and also Talking the Tropics with Mike as the First Alert Weather Team continues to track not only Dorian, but also the tropics.
A man says he was robbed by a car service driver, and JSO needs your help finding the suspect. Police say this man stopped just before the victim's destination, beat him up, and stole his wallet. The suspect was then seen using the victim's credit card at several stores on the west side. Children targeted with drug-laced treats, and police say a Jacksonville man is responsible. Action News Jax Christy Turner reports more than 100 pounds of marijuana edibles were found inside of the suspect's home.
Investigators say the suspect was taking cereal like this, mixing it with marijuana, and selling it to kids. It looks like regular Rice Krispies treats, but the Drug Enforcement Administration says they're infused with marijuana.
Oh my God, that's awful.
Investigators say at least 115 pounds of marijuana edibles were seized from this West Side home. The DEA says Thomas Renkley was selling the drugs to young adults and children.
That's very concerning because that could be my child or anybody's child. It's awful.
Parents say kids are vulnerable.
I do think a child could get hurt.
Renkley's arrest is part of a statewide operation targeting opioids that nabbed 300 suspects, including 20 people in Northeast Florida alone. Renkley is also charged with trafficking heroin and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. I checked jail records and found 17 arrests in Duval County dating back to 2007. Reporting in downtown Jacksonville, Christy Turner, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
Kids today are putting more and more of their lives on social media, and schools think that they can use that information to prevent a mass shooting. Social Sentinel says its algorithms can trip an invisible alarm and flag a threatening post. It then alerts schools and police. The company wants everyone to know it only uses publicly available data, arguing that it is not surveillance.
New information out of Brazil. 4 hours of rain have helped put out parts of the Amazon forest fires. The Brazilian government has recently stepped up efforts to combat raging fires there in the Amazon. Nearly 95,000 fires started in Brazil this year. That's a 75% increase from last year. Today, inspectors looked at a local park where a mother died when her car became submerged. Action News Jax Jamarlo Phillips has more on what the city is doing to keep people safe at parks.
When you come to Hannah Park, you'll find this. John Turner and his wife come here often to fish.
Depending on the time of year. It's kind of hot right now, but yeah, usually every weekend.
Today, they weren't the only ones checking out the park. The city had a risk management crew out to look at ways to improve safety in the park. In July, Action News Jax told you 35-year-old Kathy Paredes drowned after crashing her Jeep into a lake with her 5-year-old daughter inside. She was attempting to turn around along this dirt road in the park.
The city is looking at ways to improve safety in all areas across Hannah Park, including this one right here. People we talk to say this narrow dirt road can be very tricky because there's only one way in and one way out.
There are no visible changes out here since that accident in July. We expect to hear what the city plans to do to improve safety at the park on Monday.
Jamarlo Phillips, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. We say goodbye to Dorian, at least as far as we're concerned here in the U.S. The rest of the tropics pretty active. I'll update you and the latest on a weekend September heat wave in the First Alert forecast.
Plus the tools to fight pediatric cancer. We talked to a mother who says it was local doctors who saved her son from a rare brain tumor.
And new concerns over your security system, why some say the Ring doorbell is creating a problem for minorities. Action News Jax continues to track the destruction from Hurricane Dorian. And we have some more video now from a North Carolina barrier island. You can see the flooding there right over the tires of that truck. And the woman recording this says at one point half of their home was flooded and their cars were all nearly submerged underwater. It is a hidden secret. It's how doctors in Jacksonville describe all the services they can provide to local families whose kids need cancer treatment.
Action News Jax Alicia Tarancon spoke with one local mother who says it was the help of Jacksonville in our area that helped Jacksonville doctors who helped her son get better after he was diagnosed with a rare form of brain cancer.
Catherine Gilligan's 11-year-old son Andrew was diagnosed with a rare cancerous tumor in his brain when he was 4. He was rushed to the emergency room at Wolfson Children's Hospital where he underwent surgery.
We had to reteach him how to eat and walk and talk.
Gilligan says it was the doctors who helped him get better. About 115 children will be diagnosed with pediatric cancer in our area, and about 95% of them will be treated by specialists right here in the Jacksonville area.
It does take a community to make this happen.
Doctors from Wolfson Children's Hospital, UF Health Proton Therapy Institute, Nemours Children's Hospital, and more kicked off National Childhood Cancer Month, letting the community know they have specialists on hand with the tools needed to treat children in our area.
We have excellent surgical care, oncology care, radiation care, and really I think it's kind of a hidden secret in Jacksonville.
In fact, it was Andrew's journey that inspired his sister to get into nursing school. Eventually, she wants to land a job at Wolfson so she can help children like her brother live long and healthy lives.
Just seeing how the nurses took care of him and just put a smile on his face, you know, walking in the mornings, even if he wasn't feeling the best, it just really touched me.
They check him and take care of him, making sure that it stays away, and we're very thankful to that.
Reporting at Jax Beach, Alicia Tarancon, FOX30, Action News Jax.
This weekend, Memorial Hospital is opening up to accept old prescription medicines. The Drug Take Back initiative is tomorrow from 10 to 2 at the University Boulevard location. It'll be set up like a drive-through to make the process easier.
A growing partnership between police and a popular doorbell camera company is raising privacy concerns nationwide. More than 400 agencies have signed agreements with Ring. Critics complain that the systems turn neighborhoods into places of constant surveillance and create suspicion that falls heavier on minorities. Ring says it's reviewing the letter but declined to comment further.
Parking will be free all weekend in the ancient city. St. Augustine leaders made the decision to try to help local businesses that lost out on customers over the Labor Day weekend. And the free parking applies to all city metered areas, including the street spaces and parking lots. That is until Monday. Free parking comes just in time for St. Augustine's Sing Out Loud Festival kicks off today. Dozens of free concerts starting at 6 tonight. It started at 6 tonight, rather, through the end of the month. For information about showtimes and locations, click on the action button on actionnewsjax.com.
Now certified Jacksonville's most accurate weather forecast. Action News Jax First Alert Weather.
There it is, TIAA Bank Field, and they're all getting ready, of course, for the big home opener on Sunday. Your First Alert forecast, in a nutshell, hot. Yeah, it's going to be very hot. Temperatures soaring into the 90s. It'll be one of the hottest games ever for the Jags, going back all the way back to the mid-1990s. When we got the Jags here in Jacksonville. So be prepared. A lot of water, and make sure you have plenty of sunscreen too. Near record heat today. We hit 96 degrees, just short of the record for the date of 98 set way back in 1875 and well above the average of 89. 5-sweep First Alert Doppler HD dry across the area now as Dorian moves off to the north and east. Much drier air comes in underneath and will stay for a while. We'll actually need rain here in a few days with the sea breeze pushing inland. Really nice shot there of the sea breeze, but no showers or thunderstorms developing. An indication of just how dry our air is, and then that wind off the Atlantic helping to cool the beaches a little bit later this afternoon and into this evening. And it's pretty much the same story as we go through your weekend, as it'll be hot area-wide, and then we get a little bit of a sea breeze to kick in. Temperatures around 70 degrees early in the morning tomorrow and Sunday, low to mid-90s at noon, and mid to upper 90s during the late afternoon. The beach might be the best place to go, right? We're looking at temperatures that still manage to get into the low 90s, but then the sea breeze about 1:30 to 2:30 in the afternoon starts to develop and drops those temperatures off a little bit, making it more comfortable. Southwesterly winds, south to southwesterly winds gradually becoming southeast and off the Atlantic as that sea breeze forms. Jags forecast then for Sunday specifically. Kickoffs at 1 o'clock on CBS 47. Action News Jax. Lots of sun and the temperatures into the 90s. Sunburn times will be down around 10 minutes or so you want to use some extra care. In the tropics, we do have activity here, but there's nothing threatening the U.S. anytime soon, and certainly not locally. Dorian will continue northeast. It's headed toward Nova Scotia, of all places. Not unheard of, happens sometimes, but in this case could be at least a Cat 1 hurricane. Gabrielle will turn more northward, wave out over the central Atlantic's no problem the way it looks. This one over the eastern Atlantic does have more potential to develop, but it's a long ways out there. Always more in Talking the Tropics with Mike at actionnewsjax.com, and you can download for free the First Alert weather app. Mid to upper 90s over your weekend, 94 on Monday. Take a little bit of an edge off the heat mid to late week because of more of an onshore east wind off of the Atlantic. It'll still be plenty warm, but not as hot, and there will be at least isolated to widely scattered afternoon showers and storms. ActionNewsJax.com. Check out my tweets at Mike First Alert and Facebook fan page.
What to watch, brought to you by Ashley Home Store.
It's the best local sports show in Jacksonville. This is Action Sports Jax, powered by Safe Touch Security.
Man, oh man, not the news you want to hear on the Friday before the opener. The Jags' Cam Robinson going down with a knee injury during practice, officially listed as doubtful Sunday, so don't expect to see him. He'll have an MRI to determine the extent. And Will Richardson, who's never played an NFL snap at left tackle, looks like he'll get the start Sunday and maybe beyond. And by the way, it's not Cam's injured knee, it's his other knee. Yee. Oh boy. Hi everybody. Meantime, in Kansas City, Tyreek Hill, the cheetah, he gets a new 3-year deal worth $35 million guaranteed. Jalen Ramsey will hope to douse some fire on that celebration Sunday when the Jags' best covers the Chiefs' best. May the best player win.
I want to be the best, and you got to go up against the top guys on other teams all the time. That's my role on this team, is to take away the top receiver week in and week out. So I just go out there and do my job.
All right, join us in an hour on CBS 47 when we take our annual look at the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll get serious with Leonard Fournette, hear from Nick Foles, see what advice Jalen and A.J. can offer as a cornerback tandem to another duo, and, of course, take a lighter look at the quest through the majesty of song.
Can't nobody beat the Jaguars.
Oh, Tanika, is it country or is it rap? It's hard to say.
It's
like watching the big crash at Daytona. You don't want it to happen. You hope nobody gets hurt, but you can't stop watching. And this time around, we introduce Little Cell X. So this is going to be huge, yeah. All right. Gators, after a week off, play their home opener tomorrow night in the Swamp. I don't know why. 40-plus point favorites over Tennessee Martin. Dan Mullen says it's good to get back on the field after a way too early bye week.
For us, I want to see, are we taking the steps we need to continue to move forward and make our improvements throughout the year. So, I want to see us, hopefully our preparation's better this week than it was for the Miami game, and that preparation translate to a little bit better performance on the field.
All right, we got a smattering of high school football tonight. We'll get you the highlights tonight on Action News Jax at 10:30 and 11. That is a live shot of Trinity Christian High School. They're hosting Venice. No easy task. 7A Indians won state in 2017, went 12-2 last year. So just a few games tonight.
I was going to ask you, a smattering, is that like a half dozen,
I would say a smattering for me is 4. 4. That's how many we're getting. 4.
Okay. Well, now,
smattering
there it is.
4.
You have it. Smattering. Some major makeup.
Try that in your weather.
Smattering of showers, perhaps. But in this case, it's a bunch of sunshine after a very warm evening.
All right, we'll see you at 10 o'clock.
Fox 30 Action News Jax is a Cox Media Group station.
Can't nobody beat the Jaguars. Yeah, ain't nobody beat the Jaguars. Goes to the Super Bowl, we're gonna throw till we throw no.